Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 21st of January. I'm Maeve McMahon, and this is Europe Today, your daily dose of European news and analysis, live here on Euronews. Coming up today, we prefer respect over bullies. French President Emmanuel Macron has told the World Economic Forum in Davos. European leaders are increasingly concerned about the risk of a looming trade war, one that could push key industries to the brink, as well, of course, as the future of Greenland. Ahead of his arrival, President Trump briefed the press, insisting he has done more for NATO than any other leader. After a glitch on his plane forced a quick turn back, the US president is now safely en route to Davos, where many hope he will reconsider his stance on Greenland and tariffs. For more on all this, I'm joined here in the studio by Euronews' Alice Tidy, who's been live blogging all week on all that's going on there in the World Economic Forum in Davos. All eyes, of course, on Donald Trump today. What should we expect, Alice?
Yeah, so he's expected to speak in the early afternoon, but overnight he doubled down once more on the fact that he wants the US to annex Greenland. He said that things are working out. He expects things to work out pretty well. And when asked how far he's willing to go, he replied, "You'll find out." So that's fairly ominous. But he will have a lot of meetings in Davos behind closed doors. He agreed to these meetings. He said he told Rutte he agreed to these meetings earlier this week with various parties. So we'll see what comes out of these meetings.
Well, of course, everybody wants FaceTime with the US President Donald Trump. We understand as well that the Commission President Ursula von der Leyen travelled to Strasbourg last night, where MEPs, of course, are gathering to deliver a speech this morning, but will head back to Davos today. Do the Europeans have a plan here, Alice?
Well, there have been many European leaders in Davos already, and VDL is one of them. She was very clear that Europe would be unflinching in its response should Trump move ahead with his plan to slap an additional 10% of tariffs on 8 European countries. Then, of course, we had the French President Emmanuel Macron, who also said that Europe prefers respect to bullies and that it has very strong tools at its disposal and that it should learn to use them. But those are just 2 leaders, and the EU, as we know, has 27 leaders, so it remains to be seen whether or not we can find a united position at 27. And
of course, emergency talks are taking place right here in Brussels tomorrow night. We'll also be keeping a very close eye on that. But you did mention Emmanuel Macron. Alice, let's actually take a listen to what he had to say in Davos, and also Bart de Wever, the Belgian Prime Minister.
Europe has very strong tools now, and we have to use them when we are not respected and when the rules of the game are not respected, by the way. The anti-coercion mechanism is a powerful instrument, and we should not hesitate to deploy it in today's tough environment.
Until now, we tried to appease the new president in the White House, but now so many red lines are being crossed that you have the choice between your self-respect. Being a happy vassal is one thing, being a miserable slave is something else. If you back down now, you're going to lose your dignity.
So tough talk there from a number of European leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos. But now we can head to the European Parliament in Strasbourg, where MEPs are meeting this week, and where this growing diplomatic crisis between the European Union and also the United States is being felt. A vote on a resolution on EU-US relations has been postponed in order, of course, to reflect the latest developments. Euronews' correspondent Vincenzo Genovese is on the ground. Good morning, Vincenzo.
Good morning, Maeve. Good morning for Strasbourg. Yes, indeed, as you said, Donald Trump's ambition to annex Greenland and his threats to impose tariffs on European countries are dominating this plenary session of the European Parliament. We are here today with Valérie Ayer. She is the chair, the president of Renew Europe, one of the political groups of the Parliament. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. How do you should respond to Trump?
We should be strong. And stronger than we have been until now. We should acknowledge that the appeasement strategy is over and that we should now play hardball, because Donald Trump only understands the balance of power and the language of strength.
Play hardball, what does it mean in concrete? Which tools the European Union have to be strong against Trump?
We have different tools that we should use to to go from appeasement to deterrence. I think deterrence is key vis-à-vis Donald Trump. We have already decided not to vote the Turnberry Agreement. Do you know this EU-US deal that has been signed last year in Turnberry? We decided not to vote, to postpone it and not to vote it. So first tool that we've already used. We have different tools from an economical point of view. We could decide new tariffs. We could decide to sell American debt. Do you know that we have more than $1 billion trillion dollars of American debt? And we could also use the anti-coercion mechanism that has never been used until now.
Do you see any unity, any appetite to trigger these tools?
I must tell you that I'm quite worried because I see in some groups some appetite to play hardball, but I see also on other groups, also in pro-European groups, some people who said just keep calm, keep calm. But we have been calm, and we have been calm until the very first day with Donald Trump, and we have to acknowledge that it doesn't work.
Yes. Can you imagine other way of retaliate or use leverage against Donald Trump? In this case, I was bragging, for example, the possibility that European countries can boycott the FIFA World Cup. Is this an idea that you will support?
Yes, why not? We can use all the possible leverage. This is a very symbolic one with the FIFA World Cup. I think we also have to be clear right now that we have this economical leverage and that we are ready to use it.
Nightmare scenario. Donald Trump decides to invade Greenland. It's a nightmare scenario, but it's not that impossible at this stage. What can the European Union do in this case?
Everything should be on the table. Of course, linked and decided with our Danish and Greenland friends, of course, but we should be ready. Do you know that Greenland is under Article 42.7 from the treaties, so this mutual defense clause, no ambiguity on that. So we should be ready for a clear military and economical sanctions on that. But why I am talking about deterrence? To avoid that situation. We have to be strong now to avoid that situation.
And let's see. Thank you very much, Valérie Ayer. Let's see if this could be the way. Thank you very much. We'll keep you posted from Strasbourg. Maeve.
Thank you so much, Vincenzo Genovese, and to your guest there, Valérie Ayer, the head of Renew Europe, the Liberal group in the European Parliament. But of course, the action is not in Strasbourg this week. It's really in Davos, where all eyes, of course, are on President Donald Trump's speech that will be delivered a little bit later. For more on what's going on there, we can bring in now Euronews' EU editor, Maria Tadeo. Good morning, Maria. Great to have you with us. What is the latest?
Absolutely. Good morning. And of course, it is a big day because today the president of the U.S. will address Davos. And Maeve, we can also report that the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has left Davos, but we understand she will be back by lunchtime, hoping to get some FaceTime with the U.S. president. Of course, this amid tensions over Greenland. But now, to debrief, we are joined by Nadia Calviño. Of course, she is the president of the European Investment Bank. President, thank you very much. The last time we spoke, you said, I'm very proud to be European. It's been a month, and it seems to me the situation is not getting easier. It is getting much worse. What are you expecting from the U.S. president today?
Well, what I see in Davos is that this is a place for dialogue, and people are eager to talk, to find ways, to find agreements, and to find a way forward that can preserve peace and a constructive outcome. And from this point of view, I am very proud to be European. I think that from the European point of view, our approach is very clear. We have to be pragmatic when we can, but also firm when we must.
And of course, at 3 p.m., when the president of the U.S. walks these stairs and he enters the main hall, are you worried, concerned? We saw a Munich security conference. It was brutal for the Europeans. Is that what you're prepping for?
Well, I think that we can be ready for anything, and we have seen the preparatory speeches. But more importantly than whatever is said here today, I think is what we do as Europeans. So I think the summit, the European Council on Thursday, is really critical in in the sense, and historic in a sense, that we need to show the superpower we are.
And to me, that's a very interesting line, because you're saying let's not focus so much on the U.S., let's focus on what we get wrong and what we do wrong. What does that mean?
We are a superpower, and we have to be aware of it. You know, if we had any doubt, it's clear that why would the President of the United States spend so much time and so much energy to attack the European Union? Well, because united, we are unbeatable. So, and I think that's the spirit with which I will participate in the different panels in a very intense agenda here at Davos.
And can I ask you, you say we have to be firm. What does that mean? Because there's been a lot of debate around now using the big trade gun, and that means really going after the access that U.S. companies have in Europe. Is it the time now to really put the strong measures, even if there's a retaliation, on the table? This is now the time to trigger it.
Well, I wouldn't comment on the individual or the specific instruments. There is a broad range of instruments that the European Union can use to show that we're serious. I think so far messages have been crystal clear, coming from President von der Leyen, the presidents of the different institutions, and also leaders of the different member states. And united we are, and determined, I think, to establish that there are some boundaries that cannot be crossed.
When you mean there's some boundaries that cannot be crossed, what does that mean? Is that in terms of democracy?
We're fighting for democracy. We're fighting for our values. We're fighting for peace. We're fighting for the European Union. We're fighting for global stability. We're also fighting for a world order based on win-win partnerships and mutual respect. Because partnerships go both ways, you know. It takes two to tango. And from the European Union perspective, I think that we have a clear approach to continue to support these principles. This is a good fight. And I have to tell you, from the European Investment Bank Group, we're all in.
And just very briefly, yesterday the French president said we're now becoming or turning into a world of force. It is a world where might obviously meets now or beats reason. Is that what you worry, very briefly, that the world has changed?
The world is changing. I mean, Prime Minister Carney yesterday said very clearly we're not in a transition, we're in a rupture. We are in a transition, you know.
And that's Maria Tadeo there, Euronews' EU editor, speaking to Nadia Calvino, the head of the European Investment Bank. But one issue getting far less attention this week at the World Economic Forum in Davos is Gaza and the ongoing suffering there. Our Jakob Yanis has been taking a look at Donald Trump's plans for the region.
Do you have a gym membership or a loyalty card in your wallet? Well, Donald Trump just launched the ultimate club. It's called the Board of Peace. The official goal? To end the war in Gaza. But is it really? The leaked charter suggests it's actually a rival to the UN, with Trump as the chairman and Vladimir Putin on the guest list. And just like an exclusive country club, there is an entry fee. And if you want a permanent seat, that will be $1 billion in cash. If you don't pay, your membership expires in 3 years. France looked at the price tag and the very fact that it undermines the United Nations and said, no, merci. But Trump did not take the rejection well. He threatened to impose 200% tariffs on French wines. So do the math. That bottle of champagne you buy for $50 could soon cost you $150. It is also much easier for autocrats than democracies to join in. A dictator can just wire the money. And here in the EU, Donald Tusk, the Polish Prime Minister, just reminded the invited president, you can't just buy a seat. You need Parliament's permission. Finally, in politics, silence is often louder than what you say. And the leaked charter for the Gaza Peace Board doesn't even mention the word Gaza. So until I find a spare billion to join the club, peace out!
Jakob Yanis there. And for more on Davos, do visit our website, euronews.com. But that brings this edition of Europe Today to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. We also have Donald Trump's speech live later on Euronews, so tune in for that. See you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.